Hello, my name's Katrina, and this is a presentation of my behaviorist biography project on Dr. Carol Pilgrim. I hope you enjoy it. So I will start this presentation with a quote by Dr. Pilgrim herself. Continuing to extend the range of our scientific questions and applications will be key to furthering our field as a science and to securing its place in society. So in 1978, Dr. Pilgrim received her Bachelor of Science at Virginia Tech. In 1983, she earned her master's degree in experimental analysis of behavior at the University of Florida. She became a doctorate of experimental analysis of behavior at the University of Florida in 1987. Dr. Pilgrim is currently living and is a professor and associate dean for the psychology department of the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. She is actively researching in her lab at UNCW and primarily works with typically developing children and children diagnosed with autism or other developmental disabilities. As a leader in her field, Dr. Pilgrim has been president of prominent organizations such as the ABAI, the Society for the Advancement of Behavior Analysis, and Division 25 Behavior Analysis of the American Psychological Association. She's also been the secretary of the Society for Experimental Analysis of Behavior and served as its board member for 8 years. Dr. Pilgrim contributes to the distribution of information about behavior analysis through her work as a chair of the publication board of ABAI. She is also an editor for numerous scientific journals listed in this slide. She has collaborated with the health field through her research, catching the attention of scientists and practitioners working in cancer prevention, and she has been revered for her work in developing stimulus control in children. I researched Dr. Pilgrim through her peer-reviewed articles that she's written, and I will be going over each article, presenting my 5 mock interview questions, and go over the implications of her work. The first article I will be summarizing is an interview with Dr. Pilgrim about her introduction into ABA, her educational background, and her career as a behavior analyst. Dr. Pilgrim describes her time at UF as a very influential time in her life. The collaborative nature of her graduate program allowed her to learn with and through other faculty members and students. Dr. Pilgrim talks about her first job, a professor for the psychology department at UNCW, a position she still holds today. She speaks on the opportunities she'd had throughout her career that has given her the chance to witness the work of other behavior analysts. Throughout the interview, Dr. Pilgrim imparts wisdom and advice to students interested in entering the field of ABA. In the second article, Some Thoughts on Shaping Future Behavior Analysts, a call to stay true to her roots, Dr. Pilgrim expresses her concerns with the future of behavior analysis and the training of future behavior analysts. Dr. Pilgrim views that focusing on just one aspect of behavior analysis is limiting and will not give students the right tools they will need to be effective practitioners. I find Dr. Pilgrim's viewpoint intriguing and valid, as I am just discovering the importance of learning all aspects of behavior analysis. The next 2 articles are about stimulus equivalence written 20 years apart. Stimulus equivalence was very influential in Pilgrim's career, as she has written several articles about this subject over a number of years. Stimulus equivalence was first introduced by Sidman, who discovered that stimulus equivalence can be used to learn novel responding. There are 3 types of stimulus equivalence represented in this image. So the pug equals the pug is reflexivity. The pug equals the German or the Rottweiler. I don't know my dogs. And the other dog equals a pug represents symmetry. Transitivity is when the pug equals the Rottweiler equals the word dog, and the pug also equals the word dog. So just give you a little explanation of what stimulus equivalence really is. So So the first article written was Reversal of Baseline Relations and Stimulus Equivalence, number 2, Children. It was written in 1995 about a case study involving Pilgrim when she was just a graduate student and children between the ages 5 and 7 years old. The participants were taught 2 different conditional discriminations and were shown the emergence of 2 3-member equivalence classes. The purpose of the study was to discover more about the role of stimulus equivalence in behavior analysis. For this study, equivalence patterns needed to be manipulated and disrupted. The subjects were then shown the reversal of 2 different conditional discriminations they just learned. The result of this study was surprising. It was revealed that equivalence class performances are seemingly more disruptive in children than in adults. The second article, considering definitions of stimulus equivalence, written 20 years later, Pilgrim proposes to expand the definition of stimulus equivalence to include a larger scope of interrelated emergent relations, which is when there are steady patterns of responding during a probe with no access to reinforcement. Pilgrim hopes this will result in discovering more about equivalence as a process, which in turn helps us use and adapt these effective teaching methods. The last article is Dr. Pilgrim's response to an article written by Thomas S. Critchfield about translational behavior analysis and its relation to practical benefits. In Critchfield's article, he calls upon basic scientists to use translational behavior analysis as basis for their research. Critchfield defines translational research as problems or concerns that results in fundamental behavior principles aiding in societal issues. Dr. Pilgrim questions to what degree can translational approach by basic scientists sway the public and in turn translate to public support. Dr. Pilgrim takes a closer examination at Dr. Critchfield's stance on basic science. She calls into question that if the goal is to give support to translational programs in the realm of basic behavior analysis to gain practical benefits, what evidence does Dr. Critchfield have to make this happen? So I'm just going to read over my mock interview questions. Number 1, why do you think there is a low interest in gaining a PhD in the field of behavior analysis? Number 2, how can the principles and practices of behavior analysis be more accessible to the general public who can benefit from them? Question 3, it seems that you value your mentorship with your students, and you've mentioned that you spent quite a bit of time speaking to other students and faculty about behavior analysis while attending graduate school. Why do you believe collaboration is critical in the field of behavior analysis? Number 4, do your students often feel pigeonholed into becoming a BCBA? What advice would you give the student who does feel this way? And number 5, do you have any concerns with the growth of ABA and the implications it may have on the quality of care the clients receive? So implications of her work. So Dr. Pilgrim has impacted the field of behavior analysis through various means. As an educator, she has been revered as an excellent mentor and teacher, and it's apparent as to why in her approach with her students. Dr. Pilgrim emphasizes that her students should not only learn from her, but be a part of the process as collaborators. As a leader, Dr. Pilgrim has held many leadership positions that have served in advancement and dissemination of experimental behavior analysis. Dr. Pilgrim's work has impacted both clinical practice in her area and basic behavior analytic knowledge. She was very influential in the advancement of relational stimulus control in children and adults through her research in stimulus equivalence. She's collaborated with doctors at UNC School of Medicine, where she's trained medical students and nurses conducting breast examinations. Through her work in that research, she was able to draw attention from scientists and practitioners to aid in cancer prevention. So this concludes my presentation on Dr. Pilgrim. Here are the resources I used for this presentation. Thank you.